Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And today I'd like to show you how I made this card. This is using the stamp set called So Hoppy Together. And it's this one that you can get free in sale abration. And what I'm using today out of the stamp set, I'm using all 3 frogs and Hoppy for You. And then I wanted to say so happy for you. So I have this set from a big thank you, and this one has a little tiny stamp set that says so much. And I cut this one in half, and I'm just using the so out of this one. And you're welcome to leave that off if you'd like. But I just wanted it on there, so I went ahead and cut that one apart. So what do we need to make this? This is take 2 on this video for me. So what you need is a card base that is 8.5 by 5.5 scored and folded at 4 1/4. And this is second, like I said, take 2 for me. So you also need 2 pieces of designer series paper from the Floral Romance, this beautiful leaf pattern, and it's 2 pieces that are 4 by 5 1/4. And all I've done is adhere 1 to the outside and adhere 1 to the inside. Then we need a couple of pieces of Whisper White, and I'm using like 3 pieces. I've got 2 of these pieces cut by 4 by 5 1/4, 1 for the inside and 1 for the outside, but I'm going to cut them down. And then you need a piece of scrap paper to cut out your frogs, and just a piece of scrap enough to cut out these 2 frogs. So, and again, this is 2 for me, so I've already stamped on here my 2 little frogs that I need to fussy cut out in order to do this. What I'm changing this time around is I used a much smaller piece of paper on the inside, and I saw more of the border here, and I like that a lot better. So I'm going to do that, and how I cut them down is using our stitched rectangle, new stitched rectangle dies that we have here, and I'm using the second largest one to cut down 2 panels. So what I did was I put it on like this piece of paper, and I put just a little piece of tape along here and ran that through my Big Shot, and I did it to both of these pieces of paper. And then what I ended up getting then was 2 pieces of paper that are the size of the rectangle. And here I have my 2 pieces that I cut out, and you'll see that that's quite a bit smaller, but all of the items will fit on there. And then we have, we'll be able to see more of that pretty paper around the outside. And on the inside as well, this one is about the same, maybe a little bit smaller, but I cut those 2 out doing that. Then I took one of these pieces, and on this one I just use our stitched shape framelits, and I used the smallest of the little squares here, but I thought, why not use the ones from the stitched rectangles, because then we'd have stitching both on the outside rim and then on these little cutouts in the middle. Now, it's an oblong piece instead of a square piece, but I think that's going to work out just fine. And in fact, I have already cut my piece out. Let me get it here. All right, so here's the piece that I cut out. So, and I just eyeballed it. It's about 1/4 of an inch down from the top, and just slightly less than that in from the side at the top, and then down here at the bottom as well. So that's what I did, and I cut this piece out. Now, on this one, I also fussy cut out the little frog on the bicycle, but I thought that's a lot of fussy cutting. So I think what I'm going to do is stamp him on the inside and stamp him on the outside and color him in, and only fussy cut out the two smaller frogs. I know those of you that don't like fussy cutting will be cheering right now. So we have these pieces to go on our card and these little frogs to fussy cut. And is my practice, I've already fussy cut out my two little frogs here, my standing frog and my smaller frog. Now, what did I use? I used a combination of light old olive, light, I think this is light, this one says dark, let me get the other one, light granny apple green. I used a little bit of dark daffodil delight, and I have a dark old olive here, and then I have light crumb cake, and I have dark smoky slate. And I thought there was one more that I used, but I don't see it. Anyway, so these are the colors that I'm using to do our frogs. So we have one bit more of stamping, and that is to stamp our cycling frog here on the front of our card here, put our sentiment in, and then do this guy again for the inside of the card. So let's just get going here, and I'm going to go ahead and ink up my frog on the bicycle here. Make sure I get him good and inked up. And then the first thing I'm going to do is put him on my card base here, down a little bit on the page, between the windows that I've cut and the edge. And I'm going to, it's kind of a big stamp, so you want to make sure you get the center in there. And there we go, nice image, good. All right, so that one is done, and now I want to put him again on the inside of the card. And when your stamp is pretty good size, sometimes you get the best inking if you take your stamp pad to the stamp rather than the other way. So I'm going to see about getting a nice image of our cycling frog right down here along this edge on the inside of our card. I thought this would be a really fun congratulations card when somebody's achieved something and we want to just have a little playful, whimsical marking of that event. And there we go, nice images of our little frog. So then I have my So Hoppy for You, and that one goes on here. Now you could add more to this inside by So Happy for You, congratulations on your graduation. You could do, you know, whatever it is that you want to do there. And so I put this one at an angle, and I'm going to put it even more at an angle on this one because I don't want anybody to think I was trying to get it straight and couldn't get it done. And that didn't stamp real well here, so I'm going to just add with my black marker here a little embellishment to my Hoppy. There we go. I think that's great. All right, and then I have my So here, this tiny little word, and I'm going to put it up above my Hoppy and move it over just a bit. And there it says, "So Hoppy for you." And I'm going to bring that up so you can see it. There you go. All right. So now what we need to do is color our frogs. So I'm going to I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the crumb cake on the wheels. I'm going to use the slate gray on the chain around here and the metal piece here. And I'm going to use my black marker to color the petals and the seat. Then for the frog, I'm using these three colors of green, light and dark old olive, and the granny apple, and a little bit of the yellow to give some different shading here for the frog. And that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to speed this up so it's not tedious for you to watch, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I am back with all of my coloring done, and we are going to just add some dimensionals on the back side of this panel here. Okay, so now I'm going to lay this panel down here so that it has a similar border around the edges. There we go. And this little frog here, I'm going to tuck 1 foot on the inside and 1 on the outside here. And I'm going to put a dimensional or 2 behind the frog here. I'm going to add a little bit of snail to his legs to get them to stay put. I'm going to put our frogs in place here. 1 behind the panel and 1 in front of the panel here to get that dimension. And so it looks like he's stepping out of the window. And then I'm going to put 2 dimensionals on the back of my squatted frog here, and also put him right in the center so that his little feet stick outside of the panel. So there we go. That is the front of the card. And then on the inside, I'm going to take this panel and I'm going to add a little bit of snail here. And put that into place with the border all around. Oh dear, I've got a smudge on there. I must have some ink on my fingers, so I'll have to fix that one off camera. I got one of those sand erasers and I really like the way it works. I will take that off. But there we go. That is the project for today. And there we can see, you can see the coloring comes out differently every time. It depends on what colors you use, and I'd say experiment with that and use your blends and get some color down. But I do think I like this one better with the bigger rim around it. And I love the image of the frogs. I don't often do cute, but this one really appealed to me. So there it is. We have our cycling frog on the inside there, fussy cut out, and this one stamped. And so thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do so appreciate it. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Let's see, this is January, a few days left, about a little bit this week, I think, before it's done. And so any order that you make out of the occasions or the regular catalog, you can get this little stamp set, the Hoppy Together, So Hoppy Together, for free for a $50 order. I think it's just the cutest thing in the world. I think this would make great kids' birthday cards and all kinds of other things to cheer people up. So that is my project today. The prize draw for January is $50 shopping spree on me. All you have to do is place an order on my site to be in the drawing. And the join order for the first quarter is $175 worth of product for $99. And then you have clear until the end of June to make your first minimum of $300. So it's a wonderful time to join. And again, that's it for me. I'll be back soon with more cards and more projects. Bye.